When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you were. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream.
Om Shanti. I am in this present moment so calm, very peaceful. I let go of all the mistakes, whatever I'm holding on to. I focus on the solution. Focus on my original virtue. Being peaceful, I have the power to stay peaceful in any situation. No situation, no behavior can disturb my peace. I surrender what is not in my control. No resistance. I am free from anger, complaint, I live in non-resistance mode. Experience your light like a waterfall. There is a waterfall of purity, like I'm sitting in the waterfall. The waterfall of purity, light, healing around me. Beyond time, beyond space. I am truly soul conscious, truly alive. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. We understood about the meaning of surrendering and high quality, no, taking a stand but not polluting the inner space, not getting irritated, not feeling negative, yet having the clarity, having the powers to know what is right and what is wrong, and then speaking also. But even in office, even at home environment, the first thing is to accept it, acknowledge it, surrender it, which means non-resistance. It is the way it is, whatever it is. I have to accept it, non-resistance. Then I have to try to change. What do I need to change? My perspective about it, my vibration about it, and accept it, surrender it that, okay, this is how the people are, this is how the things work, this is how the unconsciousness in the world is. Now I have to make ways. Like if a mountain comes or a very big stone, a rock comes in front of water in the mountains. So what does the water do? It mend its ways. वो अपना रास्ता इधर उधर कर लेता है. We have to change, right? So then we have to think of, if you think that I can't change it, then accept it. But if you can, then that is the last option, that, okay, it's time, it's enough, it has served its purpose. So now it's time to move on from this job, maybe from the relationship, maybe. But we need clarity for that, and that is why we need surrendering, non-resistance. And let's let's start uh, reading where we left yesterday. So today we are going to talk about uh, illness, transforming illness into enlightenment. So if someone is seriously ill and completely accepts their condition and surrenders to the illness, would they not have given up their will to get back to health? The determination to fight the illness would not be there anymore, right? So we are trying to understand the meaning of surrender. So let's say somebody has very serious illness. So let's say we now trying to accept and surrender कि हाँ है ये बीमारी है. So what is going to happen? Would we give up that, I want to get better? So the answer, surrender is inner acceptance of what is without any reservation. We are talking about it from yesterday, that surrender is something inner thing, inner acceptance of what is. What is, you understand? What is means acceptance. What is, you know, this is the situation. I am ill. So this is what is. Accepting of what is the reality, accepting it without any reservations. We are talking about your I, this instant, not the conditions or circumstances of your life, not what I call your life situation. We have spoken about this already. With regard to illness, this is what it means. Means illness is part of your life situation, right? As such, it has a past and a future. Past and future form an uninterrupted continuum. Unless the redeeming power of now is activated through your conscious presence. As you know, underneath the various conditions that make up your life situation which exist in time, there is something deeper, more essential, your life, your very being in the timeless now. So we have talked about, we have understood about life situations. Life situation means, let's say, we are getting some kind of illness. We got a fever, we got injury, or maybe someone has got some very serious illness, right? Or um, you lost your job, you are not able to find a good job. Uh, Someone dumped you in a relationship. So these are the life situations. This is what we are trying to understand from the starting, is that life situation, life situations does not define me. There is a life beneath life situations. There is a being part, the soul part, which is beneath all these life situations, and that is timeless now. Again, if we look at the illness, there is a past and future to it, which means it has happened to me, and we think about what is going to happen in the future. So these again, we are getting identified with past and future. Like when I ask people that, what problem do you have right now? Take a minute. So many people say there is no problem, but thoda sa dard hai na? I have little pain. Again, that we are again not being in the present then. In the present means there is a pain, there is an illness which may require some solution, some medical thing, or maybe if it is, even if it is non-curable, then also it's okay. I mean, thinking about it, that why did this happen to me, what is going to happen in the future, we are denying our life, we are denying peace, we are denying happiness, right? So we have to accept it, we have to go beyond all this. I remember, um, I'm not sure who did this, but somebody asked somebody that, I have very much pain in my body. So the saint said to him that just do one thing today, practice for 1 hour, sit and just try to find where exactly is the pain. And I also said the same thing to somebody who asked me that, I feel so much pain. Yes, Swami Vivekanand, right? So I also said the same thing to somebody, and same answer came from that person, which, Swami Vivekanand asked that person, that he said that when I try to look at the pain, I could not find it. And when I find it, it was very small as compared to what I was feeling throughout my day. This is how mind identification works. The pain is very little, but we feed it, we keep thinking about it, and we make it bigger, and it spreads all throughout our body, right? So this is what author is trying to tell us, that as there are no problems in the now, there is no illness either. think about it. The author is talking about being soul conscious, being part, that the being has no illness. The body has illness, but being has no illness. The belief in a label that someone attaches to your condition keeps the condition in place, empowers it, and makes a seemingly solid reality out of a temporary imbalance. It gives it not only reality and solidity, but also a continuity in time that it did not have before. By focusing on this instant and refraining from labeling it mentally. So the author is saying that we make it solid, we empower it, we give it energy, the mind identification to pain, that, we feel good by telling people that there is so much pain. We feel good, right? So by focusing on this instant and refraining from labeling it mentally, do not label it that I am in so much pain. No, the body is in pain, and this is just a life situation. This is not a problem. Illness is reduced to one or several of these factors. Illness will reduce to just this thing: physical pain, weakness, discomfort, or disability. That is what you surrender to now. You do not surrender to the idea of illness. No, allow the suffering to force you into the present moment. You understand? When we have the suffering, that physical pain, weakness, disability, discomfort, this is a great opportunity to bring your attention in the now, feeling that I am not this pain, observing it. Yeah, there is a pain, but I am peaceful. So allow the suffering to force you into the present moment, into a state of intense conscious presence. Use it for enlightenment, right? Surrender does not transform what is, at least not directly. Surrender transforms you. When you are transformed, your whole world is transformed, because the world is only a reflection. We spoke about this earlier. It is not going to take away the pain, not directly, but it is going to give you the perspective. You will stop giving the energy to that pain. And the word is just a reflection of what is inside of us, right? It manifests whatever we are holding inside. If you looked in the mirror and did not like what you saw, you would have to be mad to attack the image in the mirror. That is precisely what you do when you are in a state of non-acceptance. And of course, if you attack the image, it attacks you back. If you accept the image, no matter what it is, if you become friendly towards it, it can not become friendly towards you. This is how you change the world, right? So non-acceptance means you're looking at a mirror and you're thinking that I don't like it, and you're fighting the mirror. You're fighting the image. What is going to happen? It is going to fight you back. So if you accept the image, no matter what it is, this is the situation, let me accept it, and you become friendly towards it, it will also become friendly towards you. This is how you change the world. Illness is not the problem. You are the problem. We have to understand what author is saying. You are the problem as long as the egoic mind is in control. When you are ill or disabled, do not feel that you have failed in some way. Do not feel guilty. Do not blame life for treating you unfairly, but do not blame yourself either. All that is resistance. If you have a major illness, use it for enlightenment, right? And yeah, there is a famous saying that the adversity, wrong things make people conscious, bring people to enlightenment. So do not label, do not identify, or do not complain, do not think that life is treating me badly. No, all that is resistance. And all that resistance again is going to reflect in your body and will aggravate, will amplify the illness, whatever you have. We'll discuss about in detail in the next book. So if you have a major illness, use it for enlightenment. Feel this is an opportunity that am I soul conscious or am I illness conscious, right? Anything bad that happens in your life, use it for enlightenment. Withdraw time from the illness. Do not give it any past or future, right? What is going to happen? How did this happen? It should not have happened. I wish I could be this and that. No, control what you can in the present, right? Let it force you into intense present moment awareness and see what happens. Become an alchemist. You all know what an alchemist is, right? Have you read this book, Alchemist? It's such a wonderful book, very small book, a 1 day book. You can complete it in 1 day. The meaning of alchemist is someone who transforms any metal into gold, which means you have the power to transform the situation, transform the life, um, uh, make the situation better. Even if it is an illness, use it. Even if it is not a very good situation, not harmonious relationship, be an alchemist. Transmute. Transmute, I explained earlier also. Transmute means uh, change it, transform it into gold, suffering into consciousness, disaster into enlightenment. Okay? So who we all are? Yes, alchemist means paras, paras, uh, which turns metal into gold. Okay? So we all are alchemists, right? Okay. Are you seriously ill and feeling angry now about what I have just said? Then this is a clear sign that the illness has become part of your sense of self and that you are now protecting your identity as well as protecting the illness. The condition that is labeled illness has nothing to do with who you truly are, right? So when disaster strikes, as far as the still unconscious majority of the population is concerned, only a critical limit situation has the potential, the crack to crack the hard shell of the ego and force them into surrender and so into the awakened state, right? Only a critical limit situation like adversity, major thing, somebody lose someone or some uh, terminally ill, disease happens, then only people, their ego shatters and they try to surrender and come into the awakened state. A limit situation arises when, through some disaster or drastic upheaval, deep loss, or suffering, your whole world is shattered and doesn't make sense anymore. It is an encounter with death, be it physical or psychological. The egoic mind, the creator of this world, collapses. Out of the ashes of the old world, a new word can then come into being. There is no guarantee, of course, that even a limit situation will do it, but the potential is always there. Some people's resistance to what is even intensifies in such a situation, and so it becomes a descent into hell. Even ये सब सिचुएशन आने के बाद भी कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं, they go more deeply into the denial or resistance, and then nothing can be done. In others there may only be partial surrender, but even that will give them a certain depth and serenity that were not that before. Parts of the ego shall break off, and this allows small amount of the radiance and peace that lie beyond the mind to shine through. Limit situations have produced many miracles. There have been murders in death row waiting for execution who, in the last few hours of their life, experienced the egoless state, and the deep joy found themselves in become so intense as to produce unbearable suffering, and there was nowhere to run and nothing to do to escape it, not even a mind projected future. So there was nowhere to go, so they were forced into complete acceptance of the unacceptable. They were forced into surrender. And when they surrender, what happened? They could feel that freedom. In this way, they were able to enter the state of grace with which comes redemption, complete release from the past. Of course, it is not really the limit situation that makes room for the miracle of grace and redemption, but the act of surrender. So, whenever why author is talking about all these things, whenever any kind of disaster strikes with you or your people you love, or something goes seriously wrong, illness, disability, loss of home or fortune, or of a socially defined identity, breakup of a dose relationship, death or suffering of a loved one, or your own impending death, know that there is another side to it, that you are just one step away from something incredible, a complete alchemical transmutation of the base metal of pain and suffering into gold. That one step is called surrender. I do not mean to say that you will become happy in such a situation. You will not. But fear and pain will become transmuted into an inner peace and serenity that comes from a very deep place. Right? We will be free. We will be peaceful. And that's why, you have seen people when situations like this come, you will see people doing the things you have never seen them in a positive way. So fear and pain will transmute into inner peace, acceptance, serenity, which has come from a very deep place, from the unmanifested itself, soul. It is the peace of God which passes all understanding. Compared to that, happiness is quite a shallow thing. That's so true. With this radiant peace comes the realization, not on the level of mind, but within the depth of your being, that you are indestructible, immortal. A soul cannot die. And you will feel so much freedom, and we have to feel it right now. That's how we become self-confident, fearless, and we do the things which really matter. That nothing can happen to the soul. This is not a belief. It is absolute certainty that needs no external evidence or proof from some secondary source, right? Transforming suffering into peace. I read about a Stoic philosopher in ancient Greece who, when he was told that his son had died in an accident, replied, I knew he was not immortal. Is that surrender? If it is, I don't want it. There are some situations in which surrender seems unnatural and inhuman. Being cut off from your feelings is not surrender, but we don't know what his inner state was when he said these words. Uncertain now, but you always get a second chance at surrender. Your first chance is to surrender each moment to the reality of that moment, knowing that what is cannot be undone because it already is. You say yes to what is or accept what is not. Right? First step is there are things which cannot be undone. So if he said that I knew he was not immortal, we just need to know that was he at peace while saying that this is the truth, right? So am I at peace that okay, this was going to happen? So you say yes to what is or accept what is not. Then you do what you have to do, whatever the situation requires. If you abide in this state of acceptance, you create no more negativity, no more suffering, no more unhappiness. Which means, let's say, this say that his son died in an accident. So, what can we do? Like he said that if it is, I don't want it. I don't want this surrender. That I can't accept it. So, what can we do then? If we don't accept it, we are creating resistance, suffering, pain, negativity, and it has no meaning, right? So this is what author is saying that you then live in a state of non-resistance, a state of grace and lightness, free of struggle. Whenever you are able to do that, whenever you miss that chance, either because you are not generating enough conscious presence to prevent some habitual and unconscious resistant pattern from arising, or because the condition is so extreme as to be absolutely unacceptable to you, then you are creating some form of pain, some form of suffering. It may look as if the situation is creating the suffering, but ultimately this is not so, your resistance is. So, whenever a situation comes, two things are certain. If we are feeling pain, first is either we are not generating enough conscious presence, which means maybe we have not yet practiced enough to be in the present, to accept, to surrender, or the situation was so big that I was not prepared for it. I i did not have enough consciousness, enough soul power to accept the situation. That's why it is becoming unacceptable. But we just have to remember one thing. It may look as if the situation is creating the suffering, but ultimately this is not so. Who is creating the suffering? My resistance towards the situation, right? Now, here is your second chance at surrender. If you cannot accept what is outside, then accept what is inside. If you cannot accept the external condition, like let's say you lost somebody abruptly, accept the inner condition. This means do not resist the pain. Allow it to be there. Surrender to the grief, despair, fear, loneliness, or whatever form the suffering takes. Witness it without labeling it mentally. Embrace it. Then see how the miracle of surrender transmutes deep suffering into peace. This is your crucifixion. Let it become your resurrection and ascension. So, if you cannot accept the external condition, accept the internal condition, which means do not resist the pain. Whenever the situation is coming, you feel somebody did something wrong, or uh, illness, or any situation, like author says, just acknowledge it. Do not label it. Do not think that, whatever, even if you're feeling loneliness, fear, grief, do not fight that. Why am I feeling like this or something? Just acknowledge it. This is what surrender means. Just allow it to be. When we allow it to be, what is going to happen? How the miracle of surrender transmute deep suffering into deep peace. This is your crucifixion. Let it become your resurrection and ascension, your step to enlightenment. I do not see how one can surrender to suffering. As you yourself pointed out, suffering is non surrender. How could you surrender to non surrender? See, we have to understand this question clearly. I do not see how one can surrender to suffering. Like, if, like, surrender to the grief, despair, fear, loneliness, right? When, so he's saying that, as you have said, that what is suffering? When we feel suffering, when we don't surrender to the situation, what is the situation right now? We want something else, we want some other results, then we create the suffering. That's why the seeker is asking, how could you surrender to non-surrender, which is non-acceptable? How can you surrender to it? Are you all understanding it? I know it is a little deep, but we are together in this because we need to understand this. Um, you know, yeah, it's very, very important to understand it. Okay, so just taking very lightly, one by one, single line. So it's okay. It will take some time. It's okay, right? So author says, forget about surrender for a moment. Okay, when your pain is deep, all talk of surrender will probably seem futile and meaningless anyway, right? We all have experienced this, that when the pain is deep, when we feel a sudden loss, uh, we can't remember everything, but we are just listening, right? So when your pain is deep, you will likely have a strong urge to escape from it rather than surrender to it. You don't want to feel what you feel. Who could be what could be more normal? But there is no escape, no way out. When your pain is deep, I remember that, when I felt a very, very deep pain, uh, something happened in with me. Um, there was a person, and that person did something terribly wrong, which I was not which I could not even think in my dreams. So that time, I always consider बहुत पुरानी बात है, long way back. So I consider myself to be very peaceful, very calm, accepting, like surrender. But at that time, the situation was so big that I remember that I was not able to handle it. So what I did, I took the cycle and I ride bicycle almost um, 50, 60 kilometers because this was the intensity of the pain. So same thing what author is saying that when your pain is deep, you will likely have a strong urge to escape from it rather than surrender to it. You want to escape from it. You don't want to feel what you feel. What could be more normal? But there is no escape, no way out. We have to feel it. There are many pseudo escapes, like pseudo escapes means distractions or escapism, work. Some people focus their attention to the work. They think that the pain will go away. Drink, drugs, anger, projection. Projections, we talked about that, projecting my pain onto the other person. Suppression and so on. But they don't free you from the pain. All these things don't free you from the pain. Suffering does not diminish in intensity when you make it unconscious. Suffering does not diminish in intensity when you make it unconscious. सफरिंग कम नहीं होगी जब आप उसे अनकॉन्शियस बना दोगे, जब उस पर ध्यान नहीं दोगे तो. When you deny emotional pain, everything you do or think as well as your relationships become contaminated with it. When you deny emotional pain, जब आप उस चीज को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, it contaminates the relationship. Contaminate उसी उस रिलेशनशिप में वो बात जा रही है, मे बी it's suppressed, maybe it's in some other form, but it is already there. You broadcast it, so to speak, as the energy you emanate, and others will pick it up subliminally. मतलब आप उस चीज को दबा तो रहे हो, बट आपकी एनर्जी, आपका योर बिहेवियर, it will be picked up subliminally. मतलब energy level, vibration level पर that soul is understanding that pain, that non-resistance, your pain. If they are unconscious, they may even feel compelled to attack or hurt you in some way, or you may hurt them in an unconscious projection of your pain. You attract and manifest whatever corresponds to your inner state. I hope you understood this paragraph. When there is no way out, there is still always a way through. Wow. When there is no way out, बाहर जाने का रास्ता नहीं है तो क्या करना है? There is still way, always a way through. उसके अंदर से रास्ता निकलेगा. So don't turn away from the pain. Face it. Feel it fully. Feel it. Don't think about it. You understand? Don't label it that why am I feeling like this? Just feel it. Just observe it. Express it if necessary, but don't create a script in your mind around it. Give all your attention to the feeling, not to the person, event, or situation that seems to have caused it. Don't let the mind use the pain to create a victim identity for yourself out of it. Give attention to the feeling, that how am I feeling about it? No complaint, no cribbing, no crying, no blaming. Don't let the mind use the pain to create a victim identity for yourself. Feeling sorry for yourself and telling others your story will keep you stuck in suffering. Since it is impossible to get away from the feeling, the only possibility of change is to move into it. This is what transmutation is. Otherwise, nothing will shift. So give your complete attention to what you feel and refrain. Refrain, you understand? बचाओ अपने आप को. Refrain from mentally labeling it. As you go into the feeling, be intensely alert. We talked about it. What is the meaning of being intensely alert? Don't be identified with it. Be an observer. Just check that what kind of feeling, what kind of emotions are coming. Don't label it. Don't criticize it. Don't judge it. Just let it come, let it go. At first, it may seem like a dark and terrifying space. And when the urge to turn away from it comes, observe it, but don't act on it. Right? There will be urge that enough, I can't handle it. Observe it, don't act on it. Keep putting your attention on the pain, keep feeling the grief, the fear, the dread, the loneliness, whatever it is. Stay alert, stay present, present with your whole being, with every cell of your body. Feel that I am in the present, I am a being, I am a soul. All these emotions, thoughts, I am not this. I am feeling it. Feel it to heal it. I'm feeling it, observing it, transmuting it. As you do so, you are bringing a light into this darkness. This is the flame of your consciousness. This is the flame of your consciousness. Now, slowly talk to yourself, resolve it, answer yourself, give the mind the answers that why should I let it go? Is it in my control? What is in my control? No blaming, no projection, nothing. Acceptance. At this stage, you don't need to be concerned with surrender anymore. It has happened already. How? Full attention is full acceptance, is full surrender. By giving full attention, you use the power of now, which is the power of your presence. No hidden pocket of resistance can survive in it. Presence removes time, and without time, there is no suffering, there is no negativity. The acceptance of suffering is a journey into death. What kind of death? Facing deep pain, allowing it to be, take your attention into it, is to enter death consciously, death of the ego. When you have died this death, you realize that there is no death and there is nothing to fear. Only the ego dies. Imagine a ray of sunlight that has forgotten it is an inseparable part of the sun and dilutes itself into believing it has to fight for survival and create and cling to an identity other than the sun. Would the death of this delusion not be incredibly liberating? We have we have forgotten that I am a soul and I am immortal. I am child of God, and this body can die, but the soul, it's imperishable. Nothing can happen to it. So in this way, what we are doing, the ego is dying. And when the ego dies, there is nothing to fear. Then you become so fearless. Do you want an easy death? Would you rather die without pain, without agony? Some of you must be thinking that why we are talking about illness, death, and all these things. I don't want to listen to all these things, but remember, going beyond words, going beyond words, which means we have to understand the essence of it. So the answer is, do you want an easy death? Would you rather die without pain, without agony, than die to the past every moment? Wow. Then die to the past every moment and let the light of your presence shine away the heavy, time bound self you thought of as you. So die to the past every moment. Keep letting it go, be in the present, and let the light of your presence shine away the heavy, time bound you thought of as you. Being present will let go of the heavy, time bound self you thought that you were there. Okay. Wait a second, let me check how much is left. We'll cover tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, what do you think? Do you want me to continue now? Okay. I think it's enough for the day, right? Or can we read this? The way to the cross, one page. Okay. Let's cover this before the power of choose. Okay. ठीक है. There are many accounts of people who say they have found God through their deep suffering. And there is the Christian expression, the way of the cross, which I suppose points to the same thing. We are concerned with nothing else here. Wait, I don't know why he said that. Strictly speaking, they did not find God through suffering because suffering implies resistance, right? They found God through surrender and through total acceptance of what is, into which they were forced by their intense suffering. They must have realized on some level that their pain was self-created, right? I hope we understood this, that what the meaning of saying is that we find freedom when we surrender. How do you equate surrender with finding God? The way of the cross that you mentioned is the old way to enlightenment, and until recently, it was the only way. So people took it in a wrong way. They started giving them the suffering, thinking that they will find God. But don't dismiss it or underestimate its efficacy. It still works. At this time, as far as the unconscious majority of humans is concerned, the way of the cross is still the way only. Suffering, right? They will only awaken through further suffering, and enlightenment as a collective phenomenon will be predictably precedes by vast upheaval. Upheavals will come, then only they will be enlightened. This process reflects the working of certain universal laws that governs the growth of consciousness and thus was foreseen by some seers. It is described in the book of Revelation or Apocalypse, though cloaked in obscure and sometimes impenetrable symbology. The suffering is inflicted not by God but by humans on themselves and on each other, as well as by certain defensive measures that the earth, which is a living intelligent organism, is going to take to protect herself from the onslaught of human madness. So there are many books, there are many movies. Apocalypse, you understand, right? Apocalypse means you can say mm, like destruction, like everything has just vanished, right? So, however, there is a growing number of humans alive today whose consciousness is sufficiently evolved not to need any more suffering before the realization of enlightenment. You may be one of them, right? Enlightenment through suffering, the way of the cross, means to be forced into the kingdom of heaven, kicking and screaming. You finally surrender because you can't stand the pain anymore. But the pain could go on for a long time until this happens. Enlightenment, consciously chosen, means to relinquish your attachment to the past and future and to make the now the main focus of your life. So we don't need always suffering to be in the present. We are very wise. We are very sensitive. We are trying to understand what does the time requires, what does the world needs right now. So we don't need suffering to be soul conscious, right? We want to be, we need to be, right? It means choosing to dwell in the state of presence rather in time. It means saying yes to what is. You then don't need pain anymore. How much more time do you think you will need before you are able to say, I will create no more pain, no more suffering? How much more time do you think you need? How much more pain do you need before you can make that choice? If you think that you need more time, you will get more time and more pain. Time and pain are inseparable. So, enough. I will create no more pain, no more suffering to myself and others. Right? So, what is the power to choose? And tomorrow we will complete this book. Okay. Hmm. So, yes, it was little deep today, but let's try to get the answers. So, let's see who will answer today. First question is, what happens when something very unpleasant happens in our life, such as chronic illness, disability, or a major loss? How can we become an alchemist and transform the pain and suffering into the serenity and enlightenment? Just one line is enough. If you are not able to speak much, I know it was little deep, but yes, who is going to answer this? जब कोई अनप्लेजेंट सिचुएशन लाइफ में होती है, कोई बीमारी हो गई, कोई लॉस हो गया, what can we do? How can we become an alchemist and transform the pain and suffering into serenity and enlightenment? Yes. Anyone wants to answer? Yes, Induji.
ओम शांति।
Om Shanti. जी.
अगर हमारी लाइफ में कोई अनप्लेजेंट सिचुएशन आती है या कोई इलनेस आती है, तो जैसे ऑथर ने कहा हुआ है कि आप इसे ऐसे मानिए कि आपने इसे चूज किया है, आपने इसे चूज किया है, और आप इसे एज ए फ्रेंड मानिए, इसके अगेंस्ट मत जाइए, इसके साथ जाइए। अगर आप ये मानेंगे कि आपने इसे चूज किया है तो रेजिस्टेंस नहीं रहेगी, नहीं तो अदरवाइज रहेगा कि हाँ ये मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ, मैंने तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं किया था। अगर कोई क्रोनिक इलनेस भी होती है तो मैंने तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं किया था, या मैंने कोई ऐसे कर्म नहीं किए थे, मैं तो सब ध्यान रख रही थी या रख रहा था। तो अब जितनी रेजिस्टेंस हो गई तो हम उससे दूर रहेंगे। अगर हम एक्सेप्ट करेंगे, उसे फ्रेंड बनाएंगे, ठीक है, जो हुआ सो हुआ, अब आगे मुझे क्या करना है। और हम इसे एज ए एनलाइटनमेंट भी देख सकते हैं कि जो कुछ हुआ है हमारी बॉडी को हुआ है, हम सोल हैं, तो हमें कुछ नहीं हुआ है, जो भी है ये हमारी लाइफ की सिचुएशन है, लाइफ नहीं है। और इसे हम एक जैसे अगर सफरिंग है तो एक टाइम है, जैसे कोई बीमार है तो उसका पास्ट है, फ्यूचर है, मतलब कितने सालों से मैं बीमार हूँ। और फ्यूचर ये भी सोचना कब तक मैं बीमार हूँगा, इससे क्या है, एनर्जी वेस्ट होती है। इस एनर्जी को हम, ठीक है, फील करेंगे, हमें भागना नहीं है, लेकिन इस एनर्जी को ऐसे चैनलाइज करना है कि अब हमें क्या करना है। थैंक यू।
बहुत अच्छा, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। और कोई, एनीवन एल्स wants to answer the same question? How can we become an alchemist? How can this situation make me more conscious, make me more enlightened, bring me more closer to God? Anyone? Changing our thoughts, we have to be more specific. ये कहकर क्या हुआ, हमने हार्ड वर्क नहीं किया, नहीं नहीं, ऐसे नहीं। What should be the thinking? Think of a situation, क्या thinking होनी चाहिए, वो सोचना है मुझे। We have to be very specific कि क्या मुझे सोचना है, समझ रहे हैं? Okay. Yes, yes, Shashi, please answer.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti ji.
Alchemist means while happening in situations, we should remember that we are a soul. Means I am a soul, and that all the things is going around. It's a part of a drama. It's not a reality. So
Hmm.
by thinking all this, by keep on remembering our mind, by recalling every time, I am a soul, and this thing is included in my drama. And the person who is giving pain, he is also means whatever he is doing or she is doing, it's also included in their part only. It's not a reality, and this whole world is a part of a platform of a drama. So, by thinking all these things, we can keep ourselves well.
Very good, right, absolutely. Okay, so the second question, um, if you cannot accept what is outside, then accept what is inside. If you cannot accept external condition, accept the internal condition. What does this mean actually? And how do you perceive this? Can you understand this? Hmm. Okay, कौन आंसर देगा इसका? Okay, let's hear it from Rachna sister first. Yes. So the question was, if you cannot accept what is outside, accept what is inside. If you cannot accept the external, accept the internal. What do you think? What is the meaning of it? Rachna, are you able to unmute?
Om Shanti. Yes, I was not able to unmute earlier. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. In just one line, what I have understood is what the author is trying to say, that the external situation is making the egoic mind bring some reactions, a narrative of the story, or create some pain. So I cannot change what is happening externally, but I can at least not resist the resistance, as in what the mind is speaking and what it is trying to make me feel. I can very patiently hear it and not resist it, because what we resist then persists. And this is the first step to healing. Once I accept what the mind is trying to tell me, just by being a patient listener and observer, not being, not identifying with that feeling, uh, then I bring the mind in that condition wherein I can talk and throw light on how to then face, as the author in the earlier chapters had pointed out, that in actuality there is nothing like a problem. A problem is an illusion. Everything is just a situation. The situation needs to be dealt with. It brings a challenge, and sometimes dealing is equal to pure acceptance and allowance. And that is what I, the being, is all about. My core is acceptance and allowance. And that is how I am in the present. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So many hands are raised. Okay, let's hear it from Himanshi. Are you able to unmute? Himanshi or Dipti, any one of you? Are you able to unmute?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Okay, let
Yeah,
Himanshi speak.
yeah.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti ji.
So when we start to start with ourselves to identify that I'm not I'm a soul, and at that soul I'm nothing can harsh me, or soul cannot and
Mm-hmm.
soul
No,
can't feel fear or any
nothing can happen to the soul, right?
nothing can happen to the soul. So when we are starting with in ourselves to identify with all these virtues, soul's virtues, so ultimately happen there are make a space to create a peace and happiness to,
Mm-hmm.
so in this way we are uh,
Right,
getting out all this stuff very earlier. Just
right,
know
right.
that the soul can't feel fear. Yeah, the soul is real identity is a virtues is that uh, peace and happiness. So nothing can change it, right? So in this way we are
Absolutely.
getting out this situation. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Om Shanti Bhaiya.
Om
Am I
Shanti
audible?
ji.
Am I
Yes.
audible? Uh, uh, I think the author wants to say that if the outer conditions you can't change, just look at your inner self. Don't go by it, or don't put any resistance, or don't show any attachment to it. Just keep on watching it, watching your feelings and everything. The situation, if it is bad, it will, the challenge is there, they will go away. And you are a soul, and these things won't be affecting you, but you have to just keep in peace by watching them,
Hmm.
and the
Right,
situation will clear up.
right.
Yeah, I
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Shreya, you want to add something? Hello? Not able to hear Shreya. Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah, Om Shanti Bhaiji.
Om
So
Shanti.
basically, I just wanted to add that we don't need to fight against the pain at the moment, and we need to notice how letting go and accepting transforms intense suffering into profound peace at the moment. So think of it like going through a tough time, but instead of resisting it, you allow yourself to experience it fully, which leads to a feeling of inner calm and growth ultimately. So that is the point I
Yeah.
wanted to add.
Yes. Yes. I remember I read one quote that the cure for the pain is in the pain. So this is what it is, that go through it. Don't avoid it. See where this pain is coming from. Try to get to the root of it without any judgment, without feeling anything negative. That's how we can transmute it. Yes, Rana sister, please add something to it.
Yes, Om Shanti, thank you.
Om
I think
Shanti. Yeah.
acceptance to reach peace. Full acceptance is surrendering and let us feel the pain and give light through our being, our presence, the light of our presence from God to take all this light, and the darkness will not be able to stay in so the darkness will not be able to be or to exist in light. This is the way, and not to also to because I tried this. I tried to avoid pain and go away from pain and hide it and suppress it for a long
Mm,
time. Then it eventually it came, and
mm,
I have to deal with it. So I was forced to
mm,
this thing. At the beginning of this journey, I was coming to just like wondering and seeing things what happen, and I was really conscious without any need of pain, without any need. So, but after that, I was forced to it. So, like Baba says always, or God says always for us, that we don't need for the circumstances to push you to enlightenment. You can be enlightened without this. You can
mm.
know. You can be prevent yourself from feeling any kind of pain by following the right steps in the life. Uh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Mm, avoiding it will only make it worse. It will be contaminated in your relationships, the way of you look at the things. Yes, Kiran sister.
Shanti, brother. Mm, like the author said, most of the time when I can't accept the external situation, so we need to just accept my internal situation. Because when I can't accept the external situation, it means we choosing the suffering. Yes, it will automatically happen. But when we can't accept, we need to just fully attention on our inner being. If we focus on inner being, at that time we need to use the power of now. Because the author said mostly when the in the external things the solution is not coming, so we need to go inside. The solution will come way through it. So like most of the time I did this when the situation is not in my control, I just keep quiet myself and just feel my inner being. So in this situation most of the time solution is automatically come out. So I need to just focus on my inner being at the time.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so yes, today's reading was little deeper, so I would recommend all of you to please read it again on your own. So please do that. And tomorrow's session also, I will tell you that first read it yourself. Then we will discuss, read it again, because uh, this is your we require little extra effort to understand it, and we are at the last page of this book. So tomorrow we will end it, and let's see day after tomorrow if we can all together have a session around discussing about the things. If you have any questions, you can ask. Maybe we will also prepare a few questions from all over the books, because um, um, the starting questions need to be asked again. you know. So um, the last part of this book needs extra attention to understand it more deeply. Okay? So we will meet tomorrow and we'll talk about it in detail. And yeah, next book is um, You Can Heal Your Life by Lucy Hay. It's a wonderful book. So if you're not in the group, we are sending you the group link, because we send the PDF of the book also. We share all the details in the group. Don't leave the group, okay? Uh, every details will be sent in the English Reading Club book. If you're not in the group, do join the group. Somebody in the team is sending you the group link. Anyone sending it? Anyone there? So, okay. All right. So, yeah, please send. All right. So, as I said, that next book is also very, very important. Very, very beautiful book. It will change the way we think. It will give an extra boost to our thinking process. It will elevate our thinking process. So वो हमें बहुत अच्छे अच्छे thoughts, बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें देंगे. I shared 3-4 quotes from the book today in the group, so you can just have a look that what kind of things we are going to read, what kind of book it is. So um, I'm really looking forward to read that book. Okay, so this is the group link. Um I can see the two different group links. Please check English Reading Club group link. It has to be English Reading Club. So I don't know which one is which one. ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, तो कल मिलते हैं. ठीक है. Yeah, first one is wrongly sent, so second one, है ना? Don't join the first one. Okay, चलो. See you tomorrow. Om Shanti.